Oh, I was just gonna say that, Black people seem to be very afraid to identify with the nature of our actual circumstances, which is true of a lot of, like, poor white people struggle to identify with their circumstances.
Our reluctance to admit our economic situation is only gonna hurt us. But if we are ever going to change our situation, we're going to have to admit that many of us are poor, and we're forced to use debt to subsidize ourselves because we're not being paid enough on our jobs.
Like, we do not live in a system where everybody who is broke becomes rich. That's not what happens. There is a class of people, a large chunk of the population that stays middle class and stays poor. Working class people are not going anywhere. We're not going to all hustle our way into. So this idea of that, like, this ambition is like, what do you mean? It's the same rhetoric that's used against, like, minimum wage, where you need to get a better job. Well, then who's supposed to do that job? Right. And how are they meant to get through life? What's going on?
So we should just underpay this thing that we all agree we need.
Exactly. Josh, and whoever does that job should just be fucked. Yeah.
Josh, I feel like I cut you off earlier.
I was basically going to say, like, when it came to broke people calling other broke people calling other people broke, was a lot of people, like, just have extremely poor financial literacy and, like, are, like, neck deep in debt. So, like, on the surface, it seems like you're balling out. Like, it seems like you got all this money, but, like, really it's just debt. And a person that's, like, you could not have a lot of disposable income but have no debt. Your credit score is phenomenal. Or, like, you might be able to afford, like, one trip a year or 2 years or whatever, but somebody will still call you broke because you're not living up to this lifestyle.
You got bottle service every weekend.
Right, exactly. Like, you're not in the, like, but so yeah, that was my thing with that. And most people have a lot of debt, like, and necessarily we don't have the tools, like, even to even really have, like, a real conversation about Black excellence in finance. Right. Like, you got to earn your leisure and stuff like that, but it's not, like, realistic because it's not even being taught, like, in schools. Like, and that's fucking the best country. It's, like, it's on purpose. But yeah.
Even if it was taught in schools, like, so there's the thing. It's funny because, like, this is a big part of the reason why I reacted negatively to it again is because this is also a big part of my video. It's like I'm talking about Jay-Z, and, like, this whole concept of, like, measuring Black folks' humanity by their wealth and by their ability to hustle and their desire to, like, be Black excellence, and how that ends up. Sometimes I think it's completely purposeful. Like, I don't think I think the earn your leisure dudes, right, and Ebony in this case, like, know that what they're doing is classist, but they also know you can get away with it with Black people. Like, I think there's, like, a traumatically informed aversion to poor among Black folks, right? Like, you can always say that about somebody, and that's like fighting words,